There is only one Middle Eastern team to ever topple Argentina on the World Cup stage, and yes, it's Saudi Arabia, set to host this very tournament in 2034. Using the momentum from that historic performance back in 2022 at their neighbors Qatar, the Green Falcons are hoping to change the perception of Saudi soccer and maybe pick up a few wins along the way. Welcome to Kickback Soccer Media's World Cup Capsules, where you'll learn everything you need to know about all 48 of the national teams competing at the 2026 World Cup, from the history of the game, the nation's current World Cup trajectory, unsung heroes, and cultural moments. I, of course, am David Goss, and today we are talking about the Green Falcons of Saudi Arabia. As they did for many countries, the English brought soccer to Saudi Arabia, specifically their navy this time, who seemingly always traveled with a team and a ball. It's believed that the English started playing soccer in Saudi Arabia as early as 1908, but until the 1920s, the sport wasn't popular and it was only played by the British. In the 20s and 30s, the locals started picking up the game, but soccer wasn't fully organized in the kingdom until the formation of the Saudi Arabian Football Federation in 1956. It joined FIFA in the same year and the Asian Football Confederation in 1974, where over the years it's established itself as one of Asia's most dominant teams. Saudi Arabia have won the AFC Asian Cup 3 times in 1984, 88, and 96, and they reached a joint record 6 Asian Cup finals and have qualified for the FIFA World Cup on 7 different occasions since debuting at the 1994 tournament. That debut on U.S. soil was their most successful tournament to date. They beat Morocco, pulled off a massive 1-0 upset over Belgium to advance to the round of 16, where they lost 3-1 to Sweden at a sweltering Cotton Bowl. Despite then qualifying in 98, 02, and 06, the Saudis didn't see another World Cup win until 2018 in their final group stage game, which was a 2-1 victory over Egypt. But it was in 2022 in Qatar where the Arabian Falcons tasted true World Cup glory, which brings us to our best moment in the nation's soccer history. The World Cup in Qatar was as close as neighbor Saudi Arabia could get to a home World Cup until, of course, in 2034, which made it a special tournament for the Saudis, and they took advantage. They upset Messi and Argentina in its first game. The Saudis came out flying. They took the game to Argentina. They were high pressing them. They played with a high line. They were on the front foot. They attacked, and Argentina wasn't prepared, and it worked. Saleh El-Shihuri and Salam El-Dosari scored right after halftime to secure the win, ending an Argentine unbeaten streak of 36 games dating back all the way to 2019. The huge win was one of the biggest topics in the world. Argentina were tournament favorites, and the Green Falcons were 750 to 1 to win the competition. The celebrations were nuts inside the stadium. Outside the stadium, the Saudi king declared the holiday after the win. Videos went viral of fans breaking doors off of houses, celebrating in the streets, dancing in their homes. They would then, unfortunately, go on to drop the remaining 2 games to Poland and Mexico, giving them another group stage exit, but not without picking up that historic victory. For the 2026 edition, Saudi Arabia was inconsistent in the first rounds of AFC qualifying. They missed out on direct qualification, but thanks to victories over Indonesia and Iraq, they were able to punch their tickets to the U.S., Canada, and Mexico. Leading the Arabian Falcons will be the most French-named and looking Frenchman in history, Herve Renard.
For our players, it's a very good generation, but if they want the fans remember them, they have to make history, otherwise everybody will forget in 20, 30 years.
Renard coached the Saudi team already from 2019 to 2023. He led the team to that 2022 World Cup and that historic win over Argentina, where his halftime speech went viral, where he told the team to believe in themselves and to go after Argentina. Following that successful stint, he decided to resign to take over the France women's national team in the World Cup and Olympics. But the Saudis lured him back after an inconsistent spell from big-name manager Roberto Mancini. Renard is known for that intense style of coaching, his animated figure. He's known to demand a lot from his players, especially in pressing and physicality. But you can hear him on the sideline, engage with his players, engage with his team, and you could understand why he has been so successful at the international level. He normally lines his team up in a 4-2-3-1 with the focus on that pressing and direct play. At this World Cup, Renard will lead a young group of Saudi players, mostly players that are based inside the Saudi League. In the most recent international window, only 2 players played outside the Saudi Pro League. This is considered a positive right now, as Saudi Arabia is undergoing this massive investment project to positively shift the perception of Saudi soccer around the world, as well as the quality in the Saudi Pro League. Everyone has heard about this major transformation that started back in 2023. There was the high-profile signings of Cristiano Ronaldo by Al Nassr. His move helped attract other global stars, including Neymar, Karim Benzema, Sadio Mane, N'Golo Kante, during a record-breaking transfer window in which clubs spent nearly $1 billion acquiring 94 players from across Europe's top leagues. In June 2023, the Public Investment Fund acquired 75% stakes in 4 major clubs: Al Nassr, Al Hilal, Al Ittihad, and Al Ahly, as part of the Saudi Vision 2030. The aim of the initiative is to eliminate club debt, increase market value, and prepare teams for full privatization. The long-term goal is to eventually sell the clubs to both domestic and international investors. But the drive to build the sport comes from the most powerful political players in this country. Saudi Arabia was eventually chosen as host for the 2027 Asian Cup, and most importantly, of course, as we all know, the 2034 World Cup. The former being the first major competition to be hosted in the country. The large investment made in soccer and other sports, Saudi Arabia is aiming to change the perception of their league, their national team, and their country. One of the young Saudi players that Herve Renard will lean on is Musab Al-Juwayr, a 22-year-old midfielder who won the Saudi Pro League Young Player of the Season last year and already has 23 caps with the national team. He came through the ranks of Saudi giants Al Hilal and impressed. He spent the last season and a half on loan at Al Shabab, where he was able to get playing time and earn Rising Star of the Month award 8 separate times. At the beginning of this 2025-26 season, he signed permanently with El Qadisiyah. He has established himself as a starter with the national team despite huge competition. Al-Juwayr is a high-touch, creative, number 10, number 8 midfielder. He's able to create quality chances. He loves to be on the ball, and he's a very important player for his club and slowly becoming a key to the national team. Although the Saudi Pro League might seem calculated and distant, it has developed a thriving fan base for many of its teams. Through the influx of cash and the soccer superstars have helped, the Saudi League and the national team had a great interest in fandom prior to that. Soccer is very important to Saudis, with millions of domestic viewers, countless traditional and new media channels, and a growing fan culture. The Saudi top 4 of Al Nassr, Al Hilal, Al Ittihad, and Al Ahly have a huge fan bases and are known for great displays and environments. Tifos, flags, coordination is seen in top domestic and continental clashes. Chanting, singing is heard throughout the matches. The fandom drop from the top 4, though, is fairly significant. Even when other teams have been able to compete on the field, off the field it's completely different. No team outside of the top 4 has averaged over 10,000 in attendance, and 12 of the 18 teams have an average of attendance below 6,000 fans a game. That said, though, the Saudi fans for the national team are considered some of the best in the region. Their call and response chants with the Gulf-style rhythm are heard whenever the national team plays, no matter what country it's in, and they love the use of a megaphone. Majed Abdullah is considered one of the best Saudi players of all time. Known as the Arabian Pele, Abdullah is a record goal scorer for both club and country. 72 goals in 117 caps for Saudi Arabia from 1978 to the World Cup in 1994. He also scored 189 league goals for Saudi club Al Nassr, where he spent his entire 21-year career. The connection to Pele comes from his incredible dribbling skills and his nose for the goal. He also was loyal at all times to Al Nassr. Abdullah has an enviable trophy cabinet, 4 Saudi League titles, 4 Saudi Kings Cup victories, 2 Asian Cups, and he was 3-time winner of the Asian Player of the Year award. So he may not be the most well-known name globally. He's a household and beloved name in the kingdom. And as always, we love to leave you with a fun fact and expectations for the upcoming World Cup. On the fun fact side of things, there's not a lot to find with Saudi Arabia. This is an interesting one. Though the majority of Saudi Arabia is covered in desert sands, it remains unusable for construction purposes to turn into cement. So Saudi Arabia imports sand from Australia to meet those needs. Sand everywhere and not a drop to drink. In terms of expectations, the Green Falcons already have that signature World Cup win back in Qatar. So getting drawn into a weak group with a path to the knockout rounds could help with continuing to build a more positive perception of the country ahead of its own hosting duties. That is the goal. Over these 2 World Cups upcoming, leading up to 2034, can they do what South Korea did, what the U.S. did back in 1994, and build a base for a potential successful home World Cup run? Stay tuned for the rest of Kickback's World Cup capsules, and make sure to follow us on Blue Sky, Instagram, YouTube, and anywhere you get your podcasts.